Ooh, what's good, y'all? Meditations. It's a beautiful day outside, so I just thought I would do my full book review, my full book analysis. I just got done reading, so I think it would just be very beneficial. I was gonna do chapters, but then I kind of saw some other variations of how some other people was doing. Obviously, I'm trying to be original, but I'm gonna give it from my perspective. But some other people was giving just full length reviews. I feel like that might be a little more concise for the average viewer. So I'm just going to continue to do that, and we're going to start with chapter 1, and we'll kind of just take messages from each chapter and move on from those. So book 1 was on debts and lessons, and we're all somewhat in debt to somebody. To recognize the malice, the cunning, and hypocrisy that power produces, and peculiar ruthlessness often shown by people from good families. And it's just showing, like, early in the book, you can't trust everybody. You can't trust those who may come from a position of power because they can't identify with the average person. But at the same time, you can't blame them because that may be where they're from, that may be where their nature is. So it's just, yeah. And then book 2, on the River Grand, among the Quadi. First verse from this: when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. And I think this again highlights that throughout the book, we give people too much credit oftentimes when they don't deserve it. And so that's our fault as humans. We can't give faith to somebody unless they show us that they're deserving of it. And oftentimes people could have the attitude that, oh, unless they show me that they're not deserving of it, then I won't give it to them. But in reality, it's like, we all know humans that aren't trustworthy. We all know humans who are trustworthy, but that's within the nature of themselves. That's been decided before we meet them. That those decisions, those inactions, or those actions that they took have been going on. So for us to think that, oh, I'm 20 years into someone's life, or I just met somebody 20 years into their life, that, oh, they're going to change for me. Oh, they're going to act this certain way. But in reality, it's like, why would they do that if they've been acting a certain way this whole time? And that's within their nature at this point, because nature and how we act is learned. It's all learned things. So if we're not stacking days, not stacking concepts with these ideas, then it's going to be very difficult for us to grow, and for them to be part of a team. To if you're selfish, it's hard to be part of something greater than yourself. And it's referred to later in this book as that's actually considered evil. Oh, birds out today. But it's actually considered evil if you're being selfish and you're not being selfless, because when you're selfish, that can cause stagnation. But being selfless, putting yourself into a greater cause. That bird's going crazy. Putting yourself into like a cause that's greater than yourself, being selfless, doing things outside of yourself, will eventually make you way more fulfilled, will make you more of a happy person, because you'll be fulfilling your nature, you'll be fulfilling what you're supposed to be doing on this earth as a small part in a huge system. For you can't lose either the past or the future. How could you lose what you don't have? The present, that's all we have. And so for us to like try to be upset about the past, for us to try to retaliate against that, would be a disservice to ourselves. For us to sulk on those times is a disservice to ourselves. And this could go for the future, to always think like, oh, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that. It's like, how are we going to do that though? What are your steps to getting there? Are we unlocking those doors that are needed every single step of the way? Or are we just going to say, oh, I'm just going to do that, and just, it's kind of like a lofty hoping goal, but with no real action? The human soul degrades itself. Above all, when it does its best to become an abscess, a kind of detached growth on the world. To be disgruntled at anything that happens is a kind of secession from nature, which compromises the nature of all things. To be disgruntled at anything that happens is a kind of secession from nature. And again, if we're working with our nature, if that's the common state of the universe, is to move forward within our nature, if we're allowing disgruntlement to stop us from that, what would that be? Exactly. So that's going to be the opposite. And then that is where evil comes in. When we're disgruntled and we're complaining and we're not moving forward within our process, that's when evil comes in and takes over. That's where it's easy for the evil to make us stagnant, to make us relapse on whatever positive we were doing. which is really interesting. It's like, it makes sense though. You have to take daily steps to get to where you want to go. And even if one day you take a step backwards physically, we could still try to improve our minds. We could still try to improve and become more whole people and not just be so demanding of one thing. Whoa, y'all, there is a seal right here. This is crazy. I've never seen that. Can I like turn the camera on? There's a seal right here, y'all. It's just chilling, and there's the birds. That's all good. That's sweet. But yeah, that's let me see if I want to go anything. Not dependent on anyone else's doing something or not doing it. That's what we need to be. We cannot be relying on other people. We must be relying on ourselves and on the people that we love. And especially now, it's like the 21st century, so much stuff is taken out of our control. So terms like food supply and just technology, like we don't have access to really make things ourselves. But the only thing we do have access for ourselves is to keep our minds sane, to keep sanity within our lives. Because otherwise, if we're trying to control everything we can't control, then what would we control if that's the case? Because the only thing we can control is our mind. So if we're not doing that, then we're just kind of going through the wind, and that's not, nah. Book 3, this is the first verse. Not just that every day more of our life is used up and less of it is left, but this too. If we live longer, can we be sure our mind will still be up to understanding the world, to the contemplation that aims at divine and human knowledge? This is what I was just saying. Like, if we're not stacking days, not stacking concepts in our mind and helping it grow, it will only catch up to us and make it so that we're not viable within the current state of the universe. I was just talking yesterday actually to this guy, and he has like an AI chatbot, and his opinion on it is that if you're not doing that, then it's going to be like when the internet first came out and we're not on, and people were saying like they're against the internet, and now they can't function, now they can't pay their bills, now they can't, because they don't know how to search up on the internet, they don't know how to use the internet. So it's how can we position ourselves, prop ourselves up into a position that we can take the resources that are given to us and maximize their potential, while also keeping our sanity, while also keeping our brain power, our knowledge. Because it's this common theme of the world is continuing to move regardless of if we want it to or not. So either you can get with it or you can get left behind. And that decision is completely and solely up to you at the end of the day. Nobody else can help you with that. Maybe if you want to take a class in school or something, but at the end of the day, like, we are in the age of information. If you do not want to access the information, then you won't. But if you do want to access the information, you want that knowledge, you will go do that, because it is all there for us. Literally on this, what I'm posting this on YouTube University is what I call it, because you can learn whatever you want on here for the free ski. For the free ski. That's the crazy part. You're getting more information on here than you probably ever will in college. And I'm in school. I've been to 3 different, like, I've been to college. Like, I go to college right now. And yeah, bro, like, if you really wanted to, for the average person, for the average consumer, you could learn just as much from YouTube as you could from college. There's, of course, specializations that are needed, but overall, for like a business or for like somebody that's trying to learn like computer, AI, like, there's programs, there's courses you can take, like, there's a lot of different avenues. So just make sure that we're always progressing in one of those avenues, in some sort of avenue, to where that's reading a book, that's taking classes, that's getting a degree, that's getting your little course careers, whatever it may be. as long as we're expanding our brain, as long as we're trying to be more self-sustaining within our mental, then we're moving within the state of the universe. We're moving forward. We're getting our knowledge up. And that is the only thing that we can actually control right now, besides our obvious inactions or our actions on a smaller scale. But yeah, as far as setting ourselves up, just gaining knowledge, gaining that information daily is critical. Someone who refuses to put off joining the elect is a kind of priest, a servant of the gods. In touch with that is within him. And what keeps a person undefiled by pleasures, invulnerable to any pain, untouched by arrogance, unaffected by meanness, an athlete in the greatest of all contests, the struggle not to be overwhelmed by anything that happens. It's a struggle, like they just said, the struggle to not be overwhelmed by anything that happens. It's that expression of like, oh, you got to act like you've been there before. It's that kind of expression, like, oh, you can't not feel prepared. And that's the thing. It's like, if we're doing everything right, if we're moving within our nature, then we will be prepared for those moments. We will be prepared to succeed when the lights get the brightest, because that is our destiny. That is where the gods, that's where the universe has placed us at that time and point. So that's why it may seem like all this like small work is not compounding to anything, but it is. It's going to be right when you need it the most. That work is going to show for you, and it's going to feel better, and you're going to feel like you accomplished more than you thought you could have prior, because those little small daily gains. Book 4 now. It pursues its own aims as circumstance allows. It turns obstacles into fuel. What's thrown on top of the conflagration is absorbed, consumed by it, and makes it burn still higher. That's how we gotta be. I know personally, like, I got chip on my shoulder every day, and that's that fire that makes me. That's why that's my why. Not my only why, but that's a big part of the why. It's because you've been put in positions, if you've been put with your back against the wall, how will you respond? And for me, the only answer that I've ever known, the only thing I've ever known, is to just come back 10 times harder. Make them feel you even more. Make them feel the fact that they disrespected you, and then make them feel the fact that they will never experience anything like that. And they will never experience that. They will never get the chance to be as successful as I wanted, as you wanted, as we wanted. Because if we're watching this, we're watching Marcus Aurelius Meditations. We probably trying to get smarter together, man. Like, it's very simple. And there's not a lot of us. There's 7 billion people in the world. And I think the highest video for Marcus Aurelius was at 4.4 million views. So that is a very, very, very small part of the universe that is trying to gain this knowledge, that has access to it. Not even has access, but goes out of their way to get this knowledge. And so if we could just continue to do this, and which I'm going to do, which that's the plan for this channel, is I'm just going to continue to read books. I almost got 70 videos out of Meditations itself. So there's just a lot of things coming this way, and it's going to be beautiful, because it's like, I'm helping y'all, or I'm trying to help y'all. I don't know if I'm actually helping y'all. I'm just yapping, but I'm trying to help y'all. But at the same time, it's like, I would have read these books, but going into it and like discussing has just been something that is like opened my mind up quite a bit more. It's just made me reread it. Obviously, look into their minds at what the wise do and what they don't. And I have learned from others always, because we're trying to be efficient with our movements forward. We're trying to get through our lives efficiently. That is the key, that for me at least, that's what I like to do. I like to be efficient within my movements. So the best way to streamline this would be to follow people that have already been there. That's why people get mentors in business. That's why you intern, I guess, even though it's just for them to get cheap labor, but that's why you intern. That's why you like go and experience these things, so that you are able to streamline a lot of these processes that may be difficult for somebody that's first starting out. And so, as like a reader, as for us, for all of us that are reading, it's, for me, it was making sure that I was taking solid notes on these pages and not like just reading, but like actually like trying to get insightful information. Because you can read it, I can read it, but for me, it's just is a lot easier if I'm able to go back through it. Also, I didn't really think about it for this, but for this, if I'm able to come back and kind of see, oh, this is what I had highlighted, let me just talk on that. Suppose that a god announced that you were going to die tomorrow or the day after. Unless you were a complete coward, you wouldn't kick up a fuss about it, which day it is. What difference could it make? Now recognize that the difference between years from now and tomorrow is just as small. It's this long Earth timeline, and we are extremely minuscule, small part of it. And so it's almost like, when you think about it like that, it's like, how could I not try to take advantage of the gifts given to me? How could I not try to be my best self? Because I've been put on the earth for a reason. So what's my true nature? How do I sustain that? How do I find that? And that's what I think is difficult for a lot of us, especially now. Like, we just are so overridden with information. There's so much information out here. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna be a family doctor, or oh, like my family raises chickens, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna be a farmer. So it's like, it's really like we're all just finding our own lanes, our own curves within the universe, which is pretty sweet. Like, I don't know if there's been that many other times where you can go from class to class so easily. Obviously it's not easy, but like, it's possible within the framework of the United States. I've seen it. So like, you can't tell me it's not possible. You literally cannot tell me it's not possible, because like, I've literally seen it firsthand. Like, I've lived it. So for anybody to say like that's not possible, for oh, we're in this oppressive state, blah blah blah, like, read this book and you'll realize like you are so damn lucky to even be here. Because yeah, you just sound like complaining. Like, and that's, again, if someone's complaining like that, that's low frequencies. We don't even like engage that anymore. Like, that's the thing. It's like, we can't even give that the time of day. So, on book 5 now. So you were born to feel nice? ? Instead of doing this and experiencing them, don't you see the plants, the birds, the ants, and the spiders and bees going about their individual tasks, putting the world in order as the best they can? And you're not willing to do your job as a human being? Why aren't you running to do what your nature demands? It's one of those things. It's like, again, what is the bee's difference in the world compared to ours? What is the importance of the bee to their colony as opposed to ours? What is our importance to our general community? How are we impacting those around us? Are we impacting them in a positive way, or are we impacting them in a negative way? Because it's like, these animals, these things in nature, bees, for example, like, they pollinate things. Where else was it? The birds, the plants, the spiders, like, they all have their own purpose. And so for us to think like, oh, I don't have a purpose like that, would be unrealistic almost. Like, it would be like, okay, so they've put these things on the planet. They've put birds and animals and spiders and all of these things on the planet for thousands of years. And I'm 22. I'll let y'all know that I'm 22, and I've been here for 22 years. So therefore, and they don't live for it. I don't think like insects or nothing live for that long, but they're able to accomplish their tasks. So how many tasks am I able to accomplish if I live for a whole lifespan? We gotta think about that. If I stack days daily, I feel like I would be getting a lot more done. I feel like we would be getting a lot more done than just pollinating something. It would be like, we'd raise a family, we'd do these things, but within nature, if doing them the right way. It's gonna feel weird if we're doing them all out of nature, all out of order, if we're not doing them within the state of the universe that we're supposed to be, and if we're not fulfilling our purpose. A lot of this stuff may feel difficult, or may feel confusing, or may feel like it's not the right time. But in reality, it's like, of course it's the right time, because it wouldn't happen if it wasn't. It wouldn't happen. You wouldn't get fired from your job. You wouldn't take a leave of absence. You wouldn't do whatever you got to do if it wasn't for the right time. Even if you don't know at the time, these lapses, these down times, quote unquote, always spiral up to this highest of highs. I was just talking about this yesterday with my mans who got the AI, and he agreed. To shrug it all off and wipe it clean, every annoyance and distraction, and reach utter stillness. Child's play. A lot of this that we be dealing with is just some child's play. And it, like, once you realize, like, it's just laughable, it's not even worth, like, arguing about. It's like, it just frees your mind. It allows for your mind to just be like, oh, maybe that was, like, mad pointless. Maybe that was, like, made, like, was just for no reason. And just understanding that, and just understanding, like, what actually matters in our lives and what matters and what doesn't is key. So just understanding our morality, understanding what's valuable to us, what we value within other people that we let into our lives. Because for a lot of people, it's going to be different. My values will stray from your values, probably. Not in terms of just being an overall good human, but when it comes to specifics of that, maybe someone has a preconceived notion because of their religion. Maybe they have a preconceived notion because they don't have a religion. It's just little things. So we can't be taking real specific things. We have to take overarching themes and apply them to others. We can't take our own moral status. We can't take our own preconceived notions and put them onto others, because we don't know how they've experienced life. We don't know what they've been doing. Remember, matter how tiny your share of it. Time, how brief and fleeting your allotment of it. Fate, how small a role you play in it. Again, it's just that all of those matter how tiny your share of it. It's in the whole world, and right now we're talking about in the whole world. It's like your matter is insignificant. Not insignificant, but yeah, it's a very small part. But within your family, obviously that's not going to feel the same. It's going to be a little different. You're going to feel more important. And so those are the people that you ride with. Those are the people that you stay close to, because those are the people that can actually help you. Just that you do the right thing, the rest doesn't matter. Just that you do the right thing, the rest doesn't matter. We must continue to be selfless. We must continue to move forward, because that is the right thing. And it's very simple. It's like we move forward through daily gains, daily progress. We stack daily deposits. Eventually, these daily deposits will amount to so much more. Compound interest is what we'll call that. It's just, it folds over itself. Eventually, day by day, you stack concepts, and eventually these concepts are rock solid concrete that can't be broken. And when you have skills and you gain skills and that within your nature that can't be broken, this is how you know that you're on the right path. Because things that are evil, things that can be shaken easily, can be swayed easily, those are not real good things within nature. Those are fallacies. Those are false confidence. Those are false doctrines. The best revenge is to not be like that. To move from one unselfish action to another with God in mind. Only there, delight in stillness. We just talked about stillness in the last chapter. And finding this stillness, finding this ability to just be extremely present within the moment is critical. And something that, as an athlete myself, I've had to really, really try to understand that even in moments, in heated moments, like, you just must remain still, you must remain calm through adversity. And that's just understanding that you have no other choice if you are somebody that people look at to be a leader, to be strong. If you put yourself out there, if you're moving within the natural state of the universe, if you're moving correctly, eventually people are going to want to follow that, because they see that there's light at the end of the tunnel for you. They see that they can help you, and you can also help them. And if they view you that you can help them, they will be more likely to help you. And that only happens when you're unselfish. If you're selfish, nobody will want to help you. Nobody wants to hang out with a selfish ass moment. Like, nobody wants to pass a rock to someone selfish because they know they ain't getting it back. Like, in basketball terms. So it's like in life, it's the same exact thing. Why would I give responsibility to somebody that I don't trust, somebody that I don't morally align with? It just wouldn't make sense. And so and that's another one of those things where it's like in business, oftentimes like people talk about, what's the word? Yeah, no, I can't even think of the word, but it's like I hire people that are like me. But it makes sense. It's like you want like-minded individuals to run your business. You want like-minded individuals that have the same morality as you to be in your business and be your business partners. You wouldn't want somebody with completely different morals to be your partner because you wouldn't align. So oftentimes people could try to blame that like on like race or gender or age or things like that. But in reality, it's like if I was hiring for somebody for a job, I would probably pick somebody that I had a lot in common with. So it's just those types of things that people are like microaggressions or whatever the term is that the people like to use. But it's like, no, it's like, that's just realistic. But anyways, evil, the same old thing. We're in book 6. No matter what happens, keep this in mind. It's the same old thing. From one end of the world to the other, it fills the history books, ancient and modern, in the cities and the houses too. Nothing new at all. Familiar, transient. And it's just, it's that feeling of like you're not the only one, or like someone always has it worse than you. It's just understanding this. It's understanding that it's familiar to the universe. All your suffering is familiar. Death is a familiar concept. That is the natural state of the universe, dying and rebuilding into something else, reincarnating into whatever it may be. And so to understand this is crucial within meditations and just within the universe, because once you realize like, I am familiar, like people have seen something like me before. Everybody thinks like, oh, I'm the one, I'm different. It's like, yeah, you are different, but there's other people, like there's other people with your skill set before. Like it's nothing, unless you're just a completely like incredible mind or incredible like soul. Even then, your soul came from somewhere. So there's always going to be people like you. There's always going to be reminders of other people like for you. But knowing that, but not allowing for yourself to become obsessed with other people's thoughts, other people's opinions on how they want you to be. Remaining true to yourself, remaining true in your nature is critical. Because oftentimes, like, I'll just keep going with the athlete example. Oftentimes the athletes, like, people be like, oh, you play like this, or oh, you want to get to be like this person. But no, like, I don't. I want to be like by myself. I want to be by myself. I want to be me. I want to play like Tony Fair. I want to play like myself. I don't want to play like nobody else. You can take things from other people. Again, that's what the book 4 or 5 said, was you can imitate other people to help try to streamline your process, but you do not want to be somebody else. You want to keep your own natural state. You want to be original. You want to move within your state of the universe, not somebody else's state, not trying to live somebody else's life, but your state of the universe. So it's funny because I actually had this conversation with my trainer a couple weeks ago probably, and we're sitting there like, why would we ever wear somebody else's jersey? You let me know. Because maybe when you're like 5 or 6, as a grown adult, like, you're wearing another man's jersey. You're wearing another man's name on your back. You want to rep that man more than you want to rep yourself? You want to respect that man's work so much that you idolize another man so much that you put his name on your back? That's what it is. It's like, that's crazy. We're putting real people on pedestals, on making them our idols. That is crazy work. Like, that is crazy work. I'm not gonna lie. And it's funny because it's like, I've had this thought since I was like younger. Even when like dudes was doing Jersey Day in high school, I'm sitting there to myself like, I'll wear my own jersey. I'll rep myself, but like, I'm not the type to like, yeah. But hey, again, that's to each their own. I think yeah, I'm not even gonna get into all that. But yeah, to each their own. It's just how some people were raised. Again, it's just different in communities, difference in like, yeah, just how people were raised. So it's not like a bad thing, but just for myself, I think that I've decided, I've came to the conclusion that like I'll never be wearing another man's name on my back. Personally, like, yeah, like that's just me though. Like, again, that's just me. So I don't, however people take that, that is them. That nothing is good except for what leads to fairness and self-control and courage and free will, and nothing bad except what does the opposite. We have all of these things if we give ourselves the ability to be fair, to have our own self-control, to have courage within our daily lives, and to exacerbate our free will within our decision making. This will make it so much more fulfilling, and we'll feel like we are our own person. We are not living through others. You can hold your breath until you turn blue, but they'll still go on doing it. People don't really care about you. Like, they may say they do, but in reality, like, people go mess with you. People go do things that they know annoys you. And so instead of rather saying like, hey, can you not do that? Just let them do that. Let them look crazy. Let them act crazy. And you just be there and accepting and not judgmental, because we want to stop judging people. We want to allow people to make mistakes. We want to realize like a lot of these people is bots. So it's like, for me, I'm not even going to entertain you. I'm not even going to put my energy in your direction because you're a bot. If anything, you're just going to be sucking my aura. You're going to be sucking my energy from me into your bot behavior, which once the behavior of a bot is in place, more than likely that's not going to change. Like, they have been seeing this, they've been programmed, and so once people have been programmed as adults, there's no good in trying to change their minds. We can't change people's minds. That's another thing that is a fallacy almost, is, oh, I can change everybody's mind. It's like, no, like in reality, people gonna have their mindset from whatever else they've been doing in their life. So it's not on us to do that. It's on others to look inside themselves, to be insightful and work on themselves. Give yourself a gift, the present moment. People out for posthumous fame forget that the generations to come will be the same annoying people they know now. And just as mortal, what does it matter if they say X about you or think Y? It doesn't matter. It literally like doesn't matter, because in 2 generations, maybe 3 generations, if you really are doing something, you will be not forgot about, but nobody will know you. Like, nobody will have been here to see you. Therefore, what is your lasting impression with yourself? What did you do for the universe? Did you put positive vibrations? Did you put positive messages into the universe while you were here? Because those can transfer. But if you're just a negative person who's more so worried about just capital, it's hard to get genuine relationships with your family. Like Elon Musk, for example, that man got like how many kids, and like how many of them like him? Like, I just saw, like, I don't even know what it was, his kid, I don't know what the kid is, but like was going on and bashing him, like, and he doesn't even like. So it's like, you can be doing these things for money, you can have all this value monetarily, but are you a family man? Are you doing what's right for those in your family, those who are next to you? Are you taking care of them? Are you showing them love, showing them care? Because a lot of things, sometimes you got to give and take. And what are you willing to give versus what are you willing to take from your family? Are you willing to give them money to take away emotional stability? Are you willing to give them money so that you don't have to work with your kids? You don't have to develop your kids, and eventually you leave them at a worse point than you were. Even if they have all the money in the world, they are not mentally developed, and that becomes difficult. People exist for one another. You can instruct or endure them. That's exactly what that means. You can instruct or endure them. And to lie is to blaspheme against it too, because nature means the nature of that which is. And that which is the case are closely linked, so that nature is synonymous with the truth, the source of all things true. Nature won't lie to you. Nature's not, if, let's say you get put in a situation, the nature's going to tell you if you're ready or not. How the outcome of that situation will tell you if you were ready or not, will tell you if you were prepared or not. And that is where nature won't lie to you. Oftentimes it won't lie to you because it is too honest. It'll be too blatantly honest. If you aren't prepared for something, you go into something unprepared, ill-prepared, and it turns out bad. That's nature being honest with you. That's nature saying, hey, you did not prepare enough for this. You were not ready for this step. And not to say that you will never be ready, not to say that it wasn't great for you to not be prepared at this point, because oftentimes that can open your eyes to bigger, better things. Because once you're put on the stage, then you know how to react from there. So even if you were given opportunities and you were unprepared, first, that may be your fault. Because I know I've been underprepared for things before, and that was my fault because I took the inaction of being stagnant on the topic. But there's also been situations that I've been extremely prepared for, because I know that my mind has known that I put enough work in to be extremely confident. And once you're able to be confident within your lowest form of training, that is how you find real success. Because it's like that expression, like, whenever you're nervous or whenever like things get high pressure, you revert back to your lowest form of training. So how were you training? What was your lowest day like? Even on days that you didn't feel physically fit, were you watching film? Were you getting your mind ready? Or were you just kind of chilling, like, oh, I'm gonna take the whole day off. I'm not gonna get my mind right. I'm not gonna get smarter. I'm just gonna lay. And that's ass. That's bad. That's bad money. Because like, that's waste. And that's offensive to the universe almost. Leave other people's mistakes where they lie. Don't try to like you could pick somebody up and try to like give them a little advice or whatever, but you can't revert somebody's mistakes for them. If somebody messes up real bad, you can't come in and say, oh, I'm gonna fix it for you. No, that's not your responsibility. That your responsibility is to maybe aid them, but you don't pick them up. You make them pick them up if that's what they want to do. If not, then you just let it be there, and you just let it, and it just shows for them. Endless suffering, all from not allowing the mind to do its job enough. Endless suffering of thinking too much, putting too much pressure on ourselves, and this feeling of like it'll never end. But in reality, it's like if we just stay in the present moment and we can just fully focus our intent on the present, a lot of that stuff will kind of drown out. A lot of that noise will drown out eventually, because it'll be either you're thinking of something that doesn't matter in the past, or you're thinking of made up situations in your brain in the future. And neither of those are, one of them already happened, and then the other one hasn't happened yet. So you can't even you shouldn't even be talking about that, because it's like you're setting yourself up to either fail, fall short, or to just not do it at all, because you're psyching yourself out. Will you ever take your stand as a fellow citizens with gods and human beings, blaming no one, deserving no one's censure? Focus on what nature demands, as if you were being governed by that alone. Then do that and accept it, unless your nature as a living being would be degraded by it. Which then, that wouldn't be your focus on what nature demands. If you were to be worse and degraded by it, that just isn't how the nature works. Nature wouldn't set you up like that. So therefore, it's putting out this disclaimer, but in reality, like, the disclaimer is just so that you can see if something is for your degradement, that you wouldn't take that. That's not part of your nature. Understanding what is part of your nature, and then also what is trying to take away from your nature, because it's two sides of the coin. We can oftentimes give our attention to things that are unimportant and taking away from our nature, or we can give our attention to things in our nature, and that's how we streamline a lot of processes. That's how we break down these doors daily. It's continuing to stack that epithets for yourself. upright, modest, straightforward, sane, cooperative, and disinterested. Try not to exchange them for others. These core values that have been displayed throughout, I would say the ones that highlighted for me are straightforward, modest, disinterested, and cooperative. Obviously, you can stay sane, you can stay upright within our posture, but with also in our courage, within our ability to stand up for ourselves, just remaining upright and remaining standing tall within our morals. Modest, I really like that, just kind of staying under the radar and really preparing yourself till then you can put yourself on a high pedestal. But even when you're on this high pedestal, just staying modest, just saying like, yeah, just worked hard, just thank God, thank whoever you are. You can't take all the credit for it. If you take the credit for it, that would be a lie. That'd be selfish. You have to give credit to God. You have to give the credit to the universe. Otherwise, why would they reward you? If you're not even going to give them their praise, give them the thank you for putting you in a particular situation, that would just be wrong. Cooperative. You want to work daily with your goals, work daily with your vision, with your reason, with your why. You want to work daily with that. You want to be cooperative with the earth. You want to be cooperative even if that happens to be some sort of negative thing happening to you. You want to cooperate and you want to move forward with it. And then disinterested. That's probably my favorite one. Disinterested with the BS. Disinterested with the things that don't matter. And disinterest means that the intelligence should rise above the moments of the flesh. The rough and the smooth alike should rise above fame, above death, and everything like them. You must be disinterested in what doesn't matter. It's very simple. Whether you're dead, you're alive, whether you're sane or insane, you want to be disinterested with those things that aren't important. You want to be disinterested and be able to regulate these things, regulate what you give your attention to, and be able to identify early what doesn't deserve your interest, what doesn't deserve points on your scale, what doesn't deserve your brain power, what doesn't deserve lowering your vibrations, because that's what it all is at the end of the day. There's so many distractions that we could start our vibrations high. I'm out here sitting in the sun reading Meditations. Like, to me, this is like one of the highest frequencies I can get to. This is beautiful. I'm looking at 3 seals right here swimming with each other, bunch of birds, like the mountains. Like, this is high frequencies. So, and I've noticed since I've started to come out here and try to do this a little more often, just get in the sun, my frequencies, like, my body feels better, I'm sleeping a little better, like just little things that stack on top of each other that we may not think matter. But in reality, everything is connected, so it all does matter. Every single thing we do does matter. Characteristics of the rational soul: self-perception, self-examination, and the power to make of itself whatever it wants. It reaps its own harvest. We reap what we sow. We reap what we do. If we put actions in, we will receive those actions, whether they're positive or negative. The power to make of itself whatever it wants. A lot of people can take this in a way where they make it negative. They ended up doing crime. They ended up doing something that they aren't supposed to do because they say, oh, I have the power to make of itself whatever it wants. But in reality, it reaps its own harvest. So if you want to do all those crimes, you want to do everything, your ass gonna be in jail or your ass gonna die. It is very simple. Like, you will reap the harvest of it, whether it's positive or negative. So if you put yourself in situations to reap the benefits or to reap the repercussions of the situations, that will happen one way or another. Whether that's 10 years down the line or tomorrow, those things will catch up with us. So how can we make sure that we've put in enough good credit into the bank of life so that we aren't in debt, so we aren't trying to make things up, so we aren't desperate. We could be desperate to succeed, but we don't want to be desperate to evil. We don't want to be desperate thinking that we need evil to help us to recover. Affection for its neighbors, truthfulness, humility, not just to place anything above itself, which is characteristic of law as well. No difference here between the logos of rationality and that of justice. Again, no difference here between the logos of rationality and that of justice. Justice and just doing the right thing morality-wise is critical, because we're the ones that see it. The universe sees it. We may think that, oh, it didn't matter. But in reality, like, it does. Like, the universe sees it all. It will see, like, it will see you cutting corners. It will see the natural can never be inferior to the artificial. Art imitates nature, not the reverse. In which case, the most highly developed and comprehensive nature itself, cannot fall short of artifice in its craftsmanship. It's just, again, it's like artificial work. It's that fake work. It's that rah. Like, it's not real. It's not real. And it's funny, because it's like, as we grow older, we want to build things that can last. We want to build things that can withstand the tales of time, that can withstand judgment, can withstand critique. And this is only possible if we build things within nature, if we build things within humility, within justice, the right way, doing things with the right way. Because if not, it is easy for the earth, it is easy for the real good nature to make things crumble if they're not supposed to be how they are. And so just processing that and understanding that the earth it'll always catch up with us. At the end of the day, like, it's always going to catch up with us. You can't outrun the earth. The earth is all being. The earth is here forever. We can't outrun that. So it's pointless. Everything you were trying to reach by taking the long way around, you could have right now, this moment. If you'd only stop thwarting your own attempts, if you'd only let go of the past, entrust the future to providence, and guide the present towards reverence and justice. We must, like I've been saying, it's all about staying in the moment, not trying to get down on the past, not trying to look forward into the future when you can't control that. It's staying present, staying within our nature now, so that we are best prepared in the right way to accomplish whatever goals we have. It's accomplishing that within the nature of our universe, accomplishing that within the timeline of the universe. And that's saying, shoot, what's good, y'all? We back. That camera almost has died, but we're back to reverence. So you'll accept what you are allowed. Nature intended it for you, and you for it. Justice, so that you'll speak the truth frankly and without evasions, and act as you should and as other people deserve. So it's funny, when we're acting in the right way, we're actually doing not only ourselves a favor, but we're doing everybody else a favor, because we're acting within our true nature, and therefore it makes it easier for others to act within their true nature. This is why, like, a great leader is crucial for any successful company, team, country, providence, state. A successful leader is required if you really want to get the best out of others, because they should be able to align their own morality with something that can be examples for others, and therefore make others act in a way that is righteous, and that is a collective positive, a net positive for the whole community, rather than just for the select few elites within the community. And I know this may be something that oftentimes isn't really done. Like, that's not really who our leaders are. That's not really who gets elected, because it's kind of a popularity game. It's about, who can make the most wild statements and then somewhat back them up. So it becomes difficult to really value this sort of integrity and this natural state within ourselves, but we will be much, much, much happier when we do this. Throw out your misperceptions and you'll be fine. And who's stopping you from throwing them out? Who is stopping us from responding to adversity in the correct way? Who is stopping us from changing our mind about things that we may be wrong about? Nobody, but our own pride, but our own selfishness. And again, if we're doing this, we can't be within the natural state of the universe, because we can't be selfish in moving within the state of the universe. That's just not how it works. And shoot, that was kind of that's kind of the end. But I just really appreciate y'all. Like, I actually had a good time kind of going over this. This was really good for me. This was really insightful for me. So I appreciate y'all. It's a beautiful day out. Like, I'm glad that we were able to do this on the water. Like, y'all see it, man. Like, it doesn't get much better. So I just appreciate y'all. Just hope y'all can stay within y'all nature, continue to build, continue to get smarter, continue to do what you're passionate about. I just appreciate y'all so much. I just hope y'all like, sub, comment if you thought this was interesting. I'm gonna be back. I think my next book is actually The Art of Rhetoric by Socrates. So I'm excited for that one. I think that'll be helpful. That'll be insightful for me. So yeah, I appreciate y'all so much. Like, sub, T-Fair out of here. Bow. Simple. First real video. Simple.